Welcome to the Small Primal Habits lecture series. Let's join in.
All right, let's get started.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining another episode of the Ketonian Korner discussions.
Why do you call them episodes?
I don't know.
It's just a thing?
Yeah.
It just rolls off?
It just sounds sophisticated.
It sounds so much better when we call them episodes.
So today we are going to discuss micronutrients. So most of you, we have talked about macros, the macronutrients, a couple of times before. So today we're going to talk about micronutrients and what they are and how you get them if you are on the ketogenic diet.
So are there any that are like normally that people are missing when they're on a ketogenic diet?
It depends on how they do it. So if you eat a well-balanced, and when I say that I mean meats, vegetables, you would be able to get your micronutrients. But if you are doing this and you are someone who hates vegetables and you never eat them, you may have to eat some specific types of meats in order to get some of those micronutrients. So let's start with what is an essential or a micronutrient. So essential nutrients are the nutrients that are vital for your health. So they are something that your body cannot produce, and so you have to get those through dietary means, either through supplement or through foods. If you do not get them and you are lacking them for a long period of time, it could impact your health. So it's very important to have them. 5 essential nutrients. There is some controversy out there saying that there are 6. Some dietitians will tell you that carbohydrates is essential, and it is not. I have done a lot of research on this, and from everything that I have found, there is nothing that you get from a carbohydrate that is essential. So the 5 groups are water, vitamins, some minerals, and those are things that you get from proteins, and some fatty acids, and those come from your fats. So again, the carbohydrates are sometimes listed, but it is not. Your body can synthesize all carbohydrates that it needs. So that does include your glucose, and you get that can happen through the proteins and the fats that you consume.
Yeah, with the little teeny explanation, star that says if that one gene that you have that the people cannot produce ketones, it's like such a small, minute.
Right.
But if just there's that one little teeny caveat, but yeah.
Yeah, and we did talk about that.
We have
think
talked
a couple
about before.
of
Yep.
episodes back, that there is a small percentage that they either cannot run on ketones, or their body can't break down fats. So with water, obviously everybody knows what water is. We need to make sure that we keep hydrated. Your body needs water. I forget, what the percentage of water? It's pretty high, like
it's really
in the
high.
90s, I believe, is the percentage of what your body is made up of water. So definitely need to keep that. Water actually helps with so many things, but like sweating, although most of us hate to do that, we need to do it to stay healthy. It keeps our bodies, the heat regulated. It keeps moisture in your skin and your eyes. And for somebody who has never been a water drinker, I do have to force myself to do that. But I have noticed since I have gone keto and I do force myself to drink water, I've had a problem with dry eye for a long time. That is improving. I can actually wear contacts now, so it's pretty exciting for me. But it also helps with so many other things, your respiratory, your gastrointestinal, and it also helps lubricate joints. So we've talked some about arthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. drinking water is really essential to help with some of those things and to keep your joints functioning the way that they should. So, you got anything to add there?
No, I don't know if it's a personal preference or what, but I tend to pay a little bit more for water. I grew up on well water, which is like, right? And that's saying something. But I think I'm going to blame my wife, but I've turned into somewhat of a water snob. So if I get my chance, I pay a little extra for mineral water, and I pay a little extra and not plastic. I know it's pretty crazy, right? But it's recyclable. So,
I have to admit I've not ever seen water in glass containers, but
yeah.
do tell.
Well, I, believe it or not, prefer the little bubbly stuff in the green bottle. I don't even know what brand it is. Per.
Is it like sparkling water?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Water with gas, as they say. Well, anyway, I know my kids hate it, so.
Yeah, I did do smart water for a while, but it didn't really seem to make me any smarter, so I stopped that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of, you can get really crazy when it comes to water, alkalinity, what's that called? Alkaline and all that stuff. But for the most part, I think it's better to drink it. I mean, I drink the stuff here at work out of the ice machine and the water.
Ew. If anybody can't see my face, ew. No.
I will as opposed to not drinking water. I'm just saying. I do bring it from home normally.
Yeah.
Or does that make you better?
Okay, so the next category is the vitamins. So there are a few vitamins, to be quite honest, that I had never heard of as I was researching this. So I'm not going to drain all of these, but vitamin A, most people have heard of. Some of the places that you can get these: egg yolks. Surprise, surprise! Eat your egg yolks. I think I say that almost on a weekly basis. But they, you can get it from liver. Not a fan, but I know we can incorporate that into our diet. It is a healthier way to go. So I'm going to venture out and try it.
I tricked my family into having liver.
Yeah, I would need to be tricked. I got to be honest. I ate it one time, and this I'm going to tell a story on my mom. She forced me to eat it, and it was so traumatic. I like it happened yesterday. It was awful. It was awful.
So from then on, you swore off.
Yeah. No, tricks on her, though, because my dad loved liver, and she was going to play, like she was making the family eat it. And when she sat down to dinner, Dad forced her to eat it as well. So, joke's on you. But yeah, it was not something that I enjoyed. So I would definitely need to be tricked to eat that stuff.
So my liver story, I'll tell a liver story too. And so for me, I tricked my children into eating it solely because you can get liver just as liver, like a raw meat, but you can also get it as a powder. So you can get decimated liver powder.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, that sounds worse than the meat. I gotta tell you.
Right? Like so I sprinkle it on lots of stuff.
Does it taste like liver?
Does it taste like liver? Well, it is not as strong.
I mean, if it tastes like powdered sugar, maybe I'm there.
No, it does not taste like powdered sugar. It tastes exactly what you'd think. Like if you just kind of disintegrated a bouillon cube in water, but if you remove the sodium, that's
so if you remove the good flavor and leave behind
remove the chicken and all the free mochas.
Okay,
no. All joking aside, that's the way to go. You can sprinkle it in just mixed meat. So, like, let's say you're going to make hamburgers. You just, how some people like crack the egg in their hamburger, or they put a little something of a binder in there, or whatever. But you could just sprinkle. And for those of you guys on the phone, I'm sprinkling right over the top, and then just kind of work it in, and you'll never even know.
So how much is a liver? How much do you get to your meat?
I would say that
Tablespoon or?
I bet it's about a tablespoon for a pound or two. It's not like you're eating an entire liver or something, right? I mean, the key is to get some of the nutrients without having to if you're, it's like I said, tricky.
Yeah, it is. Liver powder.
Yeah. So the liver powder is what they make liver. Have you ever seen just liver pills?
No,
So they make liver in pill form, and it literally is
that.
liver, decimated liver powder in a pill.
Wow.
And you can just, and the serving size is four pills.
Interesting.
They're-
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got some on my desk. If you want to come back up, I'll give you one.
Okay. I want to see what this smells like even.
Okay. I would not recommend smelling it before you eat it. Well,
Before you move on, does it change the taste of the hamburger though? Like when you mix in the powder?
I think if you put a lot in there, it would. But like when I think I mentioned this at another time, when we buy a cow from the butcher, and I have them put all the organ meat in the hamburger.
Really?
So
That's not a bad idea.
yeah. So it would be,
Extend, yeah.
it would even be a less ratio, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to try that because I bought a cow and I just have these big hunks of frozen organs in my freezer that I now do not know what to do with it. So
I'm telling you, we should do a tongue episode.
we need to because I have one and
Ooh.
I have yet to.
Everyone says tongue's good.
I've heard that it's
I've
really
heard,
good, but
I've
then
never-
I researched how to cook it.
Oh, really?
There's probably somebody on the phone yelling at us.
Yeah, there probably is.
Can you move on? Shiny object.
Okay, so other things that give you vitamin A are broccoli, spinach, dark leafy greens. What in the world is wrong with me?
Oh, where to start?
Yeah. So the reasons that you need the vitamin A are for night vision and color vision. And they also, for males and females, help with reproductive processes. So, and vitamin A is actually a fat soluble. So you'll need to make sure that you take those with food. I've learned a lot about vitamins through this research. More than I ever thought I needed to know.
I think as a general rule, especially if you're taking a multivitamin, I always try to take them with a meal because of that. There's so many vitamins that are fat soluble.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
If you're doing the
there's-
morning,
Uh-huh.
then do you notice your urine is bright yellow
Yeah.
about 10 o'clock?
Yeah. That's because it hasn't been absorbed, is that why?
That's John's opinion. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
certifiable, but
I've heard that as well.
yeah. Well, then it's got to be true.
It's gotta be
It's
true.
probably on the internet.
So what
I'm
I
sure.
have heard is that if that your body's just expelling the nutrients it doesn't need because you're overly vitamined up.
Right. But some of it
what you're
is that your
saying
body
makes more
can't.
sense,
Yeah, it's probably both.
So vitamin B1, which is also known as thiamine, you can get that from pork. For carbohydrate and amino acid metabolism. Your vitamin B2, you can get from organ meats such as liver. Here we go back to liver. Apparently there's a trend today. And you can also get them from mushrooms. So I'm all about mushrooms. I can get my riboflavin, B2 from my mushrooms.
So does it matter what type of mushrooms? I always wonder because
It didn't specify when I did research, but I would imagine just like anything, you've got some that are higher levels than others. You've got B3, which is niacin. You get that from poultry and fish. That one actually is for DNA replication and repair, so that's a good idea to make sure you have enough niacin. You've got B5, which again you get, this one you actually get from quite a few things. Your mushrooms, avocados, sunflower seeds, dark leafy lean vegetables, organ meats. Again, we've got liver, brain, and heart. John, have you ever tried brain?
I have in head cheese.
Oh,
Do you know what head cheese is?
no, but that sounds bad.
Yeah, it is a horrible name. You know what? I've got one in my freezer.
We're
I'm
just
dead
going to
serious.
have one day
Yeah.
of crazy food tries.
Those are not the free samples that people would be looking forward to. Okay. All right. I will. I'll bring it.
Okay.
We'll do it.
You can get it also from beef, pork, fish, other seafood, and again, egg yolks, and whey for those who do not have a intolerance for your milk products. So your B6 you get
But
from.
before you go to B6,
Yep.
just one thing. I don't know if it matters to anybody but if they're going to run out and do organs, I personally always make sure to have, pay it extra for, a high quality. If I'm going to eat the brain of something and or organ, I tend to pay extra for the
Yeah.
grass-fed, healthy.
Yeah, thanks
Not-
for bringing that up because I actually did have that as a note and forgot to say it. So that was one of the very first things as I started researching that they did say if you're, they kind of preface it with all meats, right? You want to make sure that it's a healthy source and, but especially the organs because the liver is a cleansing organ. And so you want to make sure that you do get good, healthy. They actually recommended that instead of purchasing it from a store or something that you actually know the farmers that you get it from during, when I was doing this research. So, yeah, well, because when you do, like your, the farms that are supplying your retail,
Yeah.
they may not feed them as nice of ingredients as somebody who's a local farmer, so. But your B6 you can get from beef and poultry. Your B7, and some of these actually have other names, but I don't know how to pronounce them, so we're just going to skip over those. B7 is also known as biotin, and you can get those from almonds, sunflower seeds, walnuts, pecans, strawberries, mushrooms, broccoli, avocado, spinach, liver again, eggs. Get your biotin. You can get from fish, and salmon was the highest recommended fish for this one, and also pork. So I think the trend is egg yolks and liver. I'm thinking that's what we just need to go start eating.
Well, since I
John.
love salmon, I'm going to stick with
Yeah, I do
that.
as well. So you're buying folic acid, and you get those from the dark leafy green vegetables, such as your spinach, Brussels sprouts. You get it from avocados, asparagus, artichokes, sunflower seeds, again, liver, mollusks, other animal foods have only a moderate amount of folate. So you're really getting that from your vegetables. You have B12. So this one, significant amounts are naturally only in animal foods. So
I do have a pro tip on the green leafy vegetables.
okay.
I sometimes have a hard time doing that, and oh hey, we got a pro tip from online Peoria, Illinois, organic grass-fed sources.
Okay.
Wow, I'll put this in the show notes. That's fantastic. Thank you for the contribution. I'll put that on the.
So you have a
that's from
hard time
Chase.
with.
Sorry,
green
no. I'm so easily distracted, my little ADD brain. So sometimes I find it hard to get enough dark green leafy vegetables, and a lot of them can be very strong and or like the textures are hard. So for me, let's say kale. Kale is something that I don't necessarily like to eat. Just kind of put it. It's like I don't really like a kale salad.
Yeah, I find that bitter.
So same here. So if you just cut it up, and if you really don't like the stem, you can cut just one slice on either side of the stem. Just toss those in a skillet with a little olive oil on a low heat, and it just bakes it down really small. And put a little. You can either sprinkle garlic powder on it or put a little garlic in it. Man, it is just, you can add it on, put it with any meat, and you can 4 times your amount of intake of a green leafy vegetable just by doing a little teeny saute in it.
Yeah, so I as well have a hard time eating kale. So what I have found, I will put it in like my frittatas along with some spinach, and as it bakes through there, you don't really notice.
Oh, that's
bitter
a good
flavor.
tip too.
Yeah, so the B12s, looking at the notes that I took here, this one is actually found in animal in animal foods. However, the animals don't actually produce it. It's actually produced by, it's kind of yucky, but that is a good source to. But you can also get from some of your vegetables. However, the caveat to that is that it does decrease the content of it as you cook it. So when you cook, the B12 is lowered to only 45%. When you reheat it, it's lowered another 45. So just to kind of keep that in mind, if you're doing it specific for B12. I actually used to take a B12 supplement, and it was extremely high. So the doctor himself actually called me to cut this supplement. So I actually stopped taking it because it was that high. So apparently I ate enough meat that...
Yeah.
And just to kind of add on to that, that's why I said a low heat. So
yeah.
the higher
Yep.
the heat, the more you'll lose the nutrient on the breakdown piece. So
Yeah, and I mean, in B12 is you need it for proper functioning of your nerves, also for the reproduction of your red blood cells along with other blood cells. So it actually is an extremely important vitamin to have, but I don't think you need it as high as mine was. So I stopped the supplement. Vitamin C. So this one actually was a little bit of a shock to me at how many foods you can get vitamin C from. Because
Orange
growing
juice.
up, yeah, in my
You've
mind,
been
that's
bred
what it
in-
is. So
it's been bred into you via commercial.
I'm keto. I don't do oranges anymore, so I'm never going to get vitamin C. But so it actually did shock me as to a lot of the other foods that you can get this from. Bell peppers actually was one of the number one that you could get the vitamin C from. Your lemons and your limes, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, those shocked me. Avocados, I would have never thought I could get vitamin C. Pretty excited that I eat avocado every day. So you get it from blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, kale, asparagus, spinach, artichokes, celery, okra, onions, pumpkins, radishes, winter squash, seafood. That one was very shocking to me. I would have never thought that I could get vitamin C from a meat, but there's actually quite a few that you do. Clams, crabs, mussels, octopus. Gotta tell ya, love octopus.
really, I would have not expected that.
I know. I honestly, I was shocked that I even tried it, but a friend of mine and I went
It's all about how
on
you cook it.
vacation. Well, we were in the Dominican, and I decided, since it was an all-inclusive resort, that I was just going to try things. And so I ordered this dish, and it had octopus in it, and it was phenomenal. I loved it. So if anybody has a chance to eat octopus, I do encourage it. Just close your
Next
eyes.
time in the Dominican Republic,
Yeah, just close because it is weird looking.
I eat it raw when I get sushi or sashimi. Actually.
Ew. Okay. Nope. Again, liver. You can get vitamin C from liver.
It's like
Liver's the magical meat.
it is, right?
It is.
That and kale.
And honestly, before keto, I always thought that liver was a bad thing to eat because it was the cleansing organ. Yeah, it filtered all of your toxins, and so I always was told that liver was a terrible thing to eat. Which again, it was terrible tasting, so I was
You were okay with that.
yeah, I was completely fine with it being bad.
Self-supporting.
Yeah, so spleens, which, gotta be honest, beef spleen, I've never heard anybody eating those.
I actually haven't either. Do you?
I should have asked for one. Next time I buy.
No, I don't think you.
And then again, beef brains. So, the next few things, these actually, they're so abundant that
You know,
put a list of these next as
You get some vitamin
Well,
K.
vitamin D, quite honestly, from a food. So
Tell me more.
You need to go outside for 15 minutes every day.
Or take it as a supplement.
Or take it as a supplement, but I am a firm believer if you can get it naturally, do it that way instead of getting it from a pill, because anything that's created is not as good as natural. So
how's that impacted by suntan lotion?
If you are somebody who's prone to skin cancer or somebody who is prone to sunburns, they do encourage you to put sunscreen on. I do encourage that as well. To make that sound like I'm going against what the typical is, but you just need to extend the time in the sun. So if you're somebody who needs to use a high SPF, you might want to spend 20 to 25 minutes versus somebody like me who does not. I generally never use anything more than 10. Sometimes I'm bad and only use 4. But I could be in the sun for 15 minutes and I should be able to get enough vitamin D is what I need. So.
Well, I'm albino, so I gotta wear 50. You laugh, but it's true. Not that I'm albino, but I burn crazy fast.
Yeah.
My poor kids.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I encourage sunscreen and but you don't have to have a lot of body parts exposed in order to get the absorption. So, spending time outside is always a good healthy thing. The next couple of vitamins are vitamin E, vitamin K, and
Clarify the question.
Yeah.
Do you have to actually be in the sun or just outdoors? Like this, I don't know.
yeah.
Like
So
if I have a hat that's shading me and everything. If I'm in the shade, that doesn't necessarily count.
no,
Well,
that
they make actually calculators where you can put in so it's basically you'd say what your latitude longitude is, and then they have this formula but anything you do decreases the amount of exposure you get.
Gotcha.
So the more you're in the shade, the less.
Gotcha.
And then it would depend, obviously, then it'd be like putting suntan lotion on. You would need to spend longer. But there's literally apps that do that on the phone. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, if it's direct sunlight, you're going to get it, you're going to absorb it quicker because it
Yeah.
is the rays,
Yeah.
right? So, but being in, you're going to get them bouncing off of things as
Correct.
well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just being cloudy, people think have this bright sunny day. You don't. You just may have to extend your exposure. Yep. So vitamin E, K, and choline, which is vitamin BP. I had never actually heard of that one before. So the other things that you need are lithium, chromium, copper, iodine, iron, magnesium, manganese. I'm going to butcher this next one because I'd never heard of this before, but it's molybdenum, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, sodium, and zinc. And those, honestly, you can find almost all of those in things that you would naturally get. So like John had mentioned before, I think you said mineral water. You can get a lot of those things that do come in mineral water. A lot of foods carry them because it comes from the ground, and so as the plants grow, it absorbs those things. You can also get them from salts. So we have talked before about like the Himalayan, the pink Himalayan salt. A lot of the minerals you can find in there. But again, those are so abundant. The magnesium is one of them that may need to supplement. Unfortunately, with the way that we grow our foods these days, we have diminished the magnesium in our soil. So that is not as abundant as it once was. So some people need more magnesium in their system than others, and if you are one of those, I am. I do take a magnesium supplement.
And we did talk about that a month ago.
We did.
Or so.
Yep. John knows more about amines than I do.
I wouldn't say I know more about amino acids, but I mean, there's basically found it or 2C. You'll see branched chain amino acids, which is very common for bodybuilding supplements, and then you'll see essential amino acids, and all of the amino acids obviously are in essential, but branched chain amino acids only has I think it's 4. Right down to it, you get the most benefit from whole foods, like we've said about everything, right? But a lot of people go fasting by amino acids in the morning. So there's a lot of controversy around that. Some people swear you don't need it. Some people say you do. The argument for taking it is that if you get yourself in such a depleted state because you are burning through, fasted, that you could start to burn muscle. And I think you'd have to do some serious cardio, but I don't know if you can think back 2 months ago, we actually had somebody chime in on the phone saying that when they were doing keto and fasted, that they were, they were seeing negative impacts of that, and one of the things was not having muscle growth. So kind of depends on what you're doing. But the bottom line is amino acids are the building blocks to your muscles. So if your goal is to increase muscle mass, your body needs those. It's like the raw materials to build muscle.
Yeah. Well, and everyone needs them, right? Regardless if we want to build muscle or we don't.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And you get a lot from meat. So it's not like I'm just saying you don't necessarily need to supplement them unless you're trying to do heavy in muscle growth.
Good point.
And then one of the things I would throw with amino acids, although it's not technically amino acid, would be collagen. Collagen is the other supplement that you'll see with bodybuilding. Mostly collagen is for the joints and stuff. It's not necessarily for muscle growth, but it is something that you can get in powder. You'll see, for example, going back to, we've talked about bulletproof coffee, although not all of us, me personally, I don't do bulletproof coffee, but if you look up, he also sells a collagen powder that goes in the bulletproof coffees. It's a kind of in the same camp as amino acids, in my mind anyway.
Yeah. I actually have decided that I'm going to do another in-one experiment. With the collagen. So I had mentioned a couple weeks ago that I was doing one currently with the MCT oil.
Right.
My 30 days is up today, actually. Today's 31st. So I think my next experiment is going to be with the collagen.
Well, don't hold out. What'd you decide on the MCT oil?
I'm still on the fence. So I do feel like I have better clarity using the MCT versus just using the coconut oil. But I've read some things and I've had some conversation with you about the MCT. So I think that I need to do a little bit more research and see if the quality that I'm purchasing maybe needs to be different. I mean, to be honest, I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do it. So I just bought what was cheap on Amazon. So I don't know if the percentage of what so
it's hard to tell. It's not like something that they put on the labels, the breakdown of the different types.
This one actually did. Yeah, so mine does. But I don't know if the percent right one, right? I don't know if it should be higher or whatever. But I'm not opposed to it, where in the beginning I was very against it. And then I started coming around a little bit. I'm willing to say at this point that there's possibility, but I will they're mine 2 tablespoons a day. From personal experience, do not do 2 tablespoons at one time. About this could cause disaster pants. Did not happen to me, and I did do it slowly, even though I had been doing coconut oil. I did take the recommendation from everybody to increase it at a teaspoon, worked my way up to a tablespoon, and then up to 2. Actually made me feel nauseous almost the entire day. I backed it back down to 1, and I was fine. So what I have learned through doing a little bit more research for it, is that they do recommend 2 a day, but not 2 at one time. So you want to do 1 tablespoon in the morning and then another one in the afternoon. So just in case anybody out there wants to try MCT, take it from me. You don't want to do 2. So, but my next one is going to be the
Collagen.
the collagen. So I did start it, and quite honestly, I started it because I was told that it would help with loose skin. So I do have some areas that I had a little bit more fat deposit apparently than others, and so I do have that since I've lost all my weight. But didn't really see a big difference in it, but I don't know that I gave it long enough. And I was afraid once I found out that your body did treat it like a protein, that maybe I was getting too much protein, and so I got a little skittish and I quit taking it. So I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to just make that one single change so that I know if that's what's causing the different things. But yeah.
Perfect. Look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to do their own N1 experiments. It's almost become addictive to me now. I think I'm going.
It's
I
your
keep
personality.
telling myself, yeah, that is true. I keep telling myself I'm going to do it with dairy. I did it for 1.5 days. I was very cranky.
That doesn't count.
So yeah, I had to go back.
It's called giving up. So the last thing you had on the list was fatty acids.
Fatty acids, yeah. And again, most of these things, I didn't read off what the amino acids were or the fatty acids. I had never heard of them. And to be quite honest, most people probably don't unless they're, have some fascination with them. It's not something that you just hear people talk about. But again, if you eat, we've talked many times about good quality fats. If you eat those, you're going to get those essential fatty acids from that. So.
Thanks for listening. For more details, head over to www.smallprimalhabits.com.